All right, welcome to another one from the Outdoor Analyst. I have a wild, fun one for you today. We're going to be talking about my favorite production bushcraft knives that I have on hand right now, and it's going to be super fun. But before I do, hey, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel or you haven't subscribed before. It really does help me grow, and I absolutely would appreciate that. Also, let me know kind of your favorites down below. Yes, we're talking about production. We're going to be skipping like the mid-tax, the semi-customs, because there are some immaculate knives in those areas. So let's start off with, honestly, maybe one that maybe is not super well known, but is going to be one of the best players out there for the game. It is the Worktough Gear Forester. Now, this knife took me by absolute surprise this year. Comes in a beautiful Kydex. It is K329 on the steel. Quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite steels. It hones up super well. It's ridiculously tough. It has a great, honestly, and this one has a great, basically a full height convex on it. Now, technically it's saber because it does start here and goes down. But this thing has an insane convex edge on it. You can get this in a Scandi as well. And I think if you're doing nothing but woodwork, yeah, go Scandi. But if you want one to kind of be a bushcraft knife that does a little bit of everything, including really good on the food prep, the Forester is insane. It has one of the most ergonomic micarta handles on there. Really good scallops to choke up if you need to. This is just a do-all knife. And for bushcraft, that's kind of what I really feel like it is. It's a do-all belt knife. This is a solid option. Now I'm going to get the sheaths out of here just because they'll probably start filling up the place a little too much, but I love this knife. Usually around like 160, still available. They're incredible. Let's throw out an old school classic now. Let's go real old school before we hit some crazy fun. I'm going to throw out there that production wise, this is essentially the Fallkniven S1. It is an old knife in VG10 wrapped in 420J, so it's a Sanmai. I have done a ton of bushcraft with this, and I love the 5-inch blade on here, kind of versus the F1, which is a 4. You can just do more. You can baton more. This is like 3/16 thick on the edge. It's a nice, beefy knife. Now, the handle is not as comfortable. It's probably the least comfortable handle on here, but it is great in the winter. So if you're using gloves, this knife is awesome. It's incredibly stainless. It really does baton super well because it has kind of a lower saber grind, but it's convexed as well. So it feathers awesomely, it notches really well, it splits wood really, really well. This is just an excellent, excellent piece. So even though a lot of people will rip on the sheaths, they're meant for super cold weather. You can always throw a Ranger band on them and they don't rattle. It really does help quite a bit. Excellent option that's out there. Okay, now let's go to one of my favorites, and ironically, this didn't start off as one of my favorites. This is the White River Knives Ursus 4.5. It does have a really nice Kydex sheath that locks in super well. You can change retention if you want to add a little screw on there. Got a little micarta fire steel, which is nice. Nice drop loop dangler on here. But this knife is 4.5 inches, and this one's in S35, 4.5 on the blade. Nice, I think it's 159 on the spine, but it comes down on a saber grind to probably the thinnest production edge you can buy. I don't know of anyone out there making a thinner production edge. Even the Cub, the little one, is going to have probably the thinnest production knife edge on there. And you can get this knife in S35N, MagnaCut, 3V sometimes, and it has just one of the most basic, comfortable handles out there. It really does rock. Now, the first version I had of this was in 3V. I feel like I kind of had a little bit of a lemon. I think maybe the heat treat was a little toasted on it, but that's okay. Sometimes it happens. White River has won me over as now honestly being one of the best just companies out there for not only really good at getting back with you for, you know, customer service issues, but and they just almost always now, I've had a lot of knives from them since, and they are spot on. Their blade edges are just perfectly ground, super, super thin, and it's a comfortable knife. This is probably one of the best that's out there, and they're not inexpensive. They're usually between like $250 to $300, depending on what you're kind of getting it in, what the steel it is, or where you're getting it. But it is really an incredible production knife that's out there. Now, I'd be amiss if I honestly didn't say picking up a Mora as a production bushcrafter. If you didn't throw a Mora in here, you'd be in trouble. And as you can see, my Garberg has been through the ringer. I have used this a lot. I've sharpened it a lot. It comes with a meh sheath. It's okay. It'll protect the knife. That's about it. But it has a nice saber, not saber, sorry, it has a nice Scandi. And you do have to knock off the V-edge that comes with it. It has a very small secondary bevel. Once you use it a little bit, put another edge on there, you can either do a full Scandi, or you probably actually convex that edge a little in reality, and I'm sure I have. But this knife is great. It's comfortable. It's kind of Puko-esque, but does have a little bit of a guard there, a little bit of one. So if you're new to the knife world, you might not actually like that. But if you've been around, you cut a ton, it works really, really well. It's an ergonomic handle. The Scandi dives into wood super, super well. It is very woods oriented. And I actually like the stainless 14C28N. It's very, very tough. It's an excellent steel. Yeah, there's a longer Garberg that's coming out. I am not super excited about that one, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. All right, now let's hit kind of like number 5. This is probably the best hard use bushcraft knife out there for production. And it is the Reef F5. Notice I skipped the 4. I like the 5-inch, honestly. Really nice Kydex with the snap that you can get on the belt without taking your belt off. But this thing's awesome. It's like 3/16 thick. Excellent Magna Cut steel on here. It comes down to a fairly thin edge, actually. Not the thinnest. This one is a V-edge, just like the White River. It's a little bit thicker than the White River knives on the V-edge, but that means you can kind of beat this one up a little more. This is a little bit tougher as far as like, I need a tank camp knife, a tank bushcraft knife. And I have done a lot with this. I've done a lot of woods work with it, and I have loved how it performs. It's super ergonomic on the handle, nice and thick, and I have large to XL size hands. This knife just absolutely molds with me, and I love it. It is really, really nice. All 5 of these are excellent. They are truly excellent knives. You can't go wrong with either one. You would pick one over the other kind of for different scenarios that you're in. For the Midwest, I love these. These are exquisite. And because we're here, I'm going to throw a bonus in. This is a knife that a lot of people don't think of as being bushcrafty, but the Worktough gear asset is actually just incredible for it. It is super comfortable and ergonomic in hand. It has the Worktough gear secondary convex edge on there. And goodness gracious, does this thing just become a woodworking masterpiece. It is excellent. 3/16, nice and tall saber with the secondary convex. Man, it's comfy. It really is comfy. It's a little tankier than these knives, but it really does perform incredibly well, honestly, in the bushcraft area. So even though it looks a little tactical, if you need a good bushcraft knife, the asset should be on your list as well. It really is phenomenal. It's a nice 5-inch K329 steel, a little bit beefier than the Forester. So if you want a beefier one, go this route, but still excellent price on there too. Okay, I hope this was kind of fun. I hope it was honestly a little bit just enlightening. But I think as far as production knives go, these are my favorites. And I know I'm borderline with calling this production because almost everything out of Worktough gear is pretty much semi-custom, but so is Reef. They're kind of on the borderline too. But I think technically they are production, so I'm going to leave them in that category. Yes, if this was, getting in semi-customs, you'd see LT Wrights and that sort of thing. But, we're not there yet. That's kind of, I would consider the next level up, but not always the next level up. Honestly, performance-wise, you're really, really hard to beat all of these, if you want me to be honest with you. I mean, you're looking at customs, really specialty, semi-customs, but honestly, these are dominant. These are absolutely dominant in the bushcraft field. Some of them kind of morph over to more like camp knives for me. I really started to love the 5-inch blades, honestly. You get a lot of performance out of that. Even the 4.5s. You just get a little bit more woods work. But you still, if it's done correctly with the handle ergonomics, you keep tons of control, and that's what I really, really like. So hope this was a fun video, giving you some different ideas of things that are out there. Let me know kind of your top 5 production ones below. There's tons of them out there, but I had these on hand, and I thought this is really worth sharing because these are almost all readily available right now, I believe. And they're all for, honestly, a price that makes sense for what you're getting. They are incredible. They are all awesome. All right. I'll catch you on the next one. Looking forward to seeing what you say down below.